What's packing with you, YouTube? KHTV back with another video. Um, we hit 600 subscribers. I mean, it took a while, but we hit 600 subscribers. So shout out for the 600 subscribers. Really appreciate it. Um, wasn't able to drop no videos this week, knowing that it was a lot going on with the greatest football team in sports history, the Green Bay Packers. I know everybody has been talking about the Jaire Alexander situation. Um, but this is nothing new to me. This is all stemming back from when Jaire had his captain's badge taken away from him, where they didn't vote him to be a captain. And that's when you started seeing Jaire and his antics um, escalate a little bit, with the Green Bay Packers media. Some of the things he was saying, you kind of want to keep in-house, especially when he mentioned that the team had talked to Joe Barry about the scheme of the defense that they were running. I think around like maybe 3 years ago. And you want to kind of keep that stuff in-house, man. So it just wasn't the coin toss situation. It was a number of things that led up to the coin toss situation. And I think Jaire has been, I don't know what he's telling the Packers subliminally by his actions, but I don't think it's a good thing. And then, of course, Devondre Campbell and his tweet, when they start saying conduct detrimental to the team, 9 times out of 10, some of these things can be worked out through communication and you know, trying to find some kind of happy medium so both parties can still continue their business relationship. But who knows what Good is going to do in the offseason about this situation. Of course, it would help out a lot as far as the Packers salary cap if they do decide to cut Jaire or Devondre Campbell. It's just gonna be it's gonna be a lot of discussions on cutting a 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback, top 5 in the league. That's gonna be a tough decision to make. But we've seen this from the Packers before. Hopefully, the Packers and Jaire can work it out. I know that Matt LaFleur stated that him and Jaire have had conversations on talking about the situation. And hope, cooler heads should prevail, but Jaire will be suspended this Sunday night against the Vikings. So, yeah, I mean, he's missed 8 games, so I don't really see there being any big difference in his defense anyway without Jaire. I mean, he's missed 8 games, so we've been pretty much rolling with the guys we've had for the last few weeks. Anyway, I know he played last week, but it wasn't his best performance, which leads me to believe that he's still trying to recover from whatever injuries he have, back, shoulder, whatever it is. And then Devondre Campbell, of course, his tweet went out and Matt LaFleur gave him a week off. Now we're going on another week of Devondre Campbell being off, and we don't know what his future is going to be like with this team either. But one thing we do know is that Joe Barry must be fired. He must be fired. He must be fired. But before we, get into the Gspot, we're going to do this all kind of together. We're going to talk about this game against the Vikings Sunday night. I think it's the last primetime game for the Packers and the Vikings. So it should be an interesting game, knowing that the Vikings don't have T.J. Hockenson. J.J. Addison is a little banged up. Justin Jefferson will play. And the Vikings are coming into this game with a 5th-string quarterback. I don't even know his damn name. What's his name? Jaron Hall, 5th-round guy. had a few snaps this season. They put Nick Mullins as the backup QB. So I don't know how this is going to work out with the Vikings, but just looking at everything in totality, we should win this game. We should win this game. I mean, they have a banged up offensive line, which is, still pretty decent. But, a fifth string quarterback, and I know, the Packers for the last couple of weeks have given up some Pro Bowl worthy numbers to some mediocre quarterbacks. And those quarterbacks, some of those quarterbacks are no longer starting, especially with Tommy DeVito. He ain't starting no more. What did I tell you, Giants fans? That was going to be his one little hit wonder. And now he's back to being whatever he was before he beat the Packers. Was that Monday night? Yeah, I think it was a Monday night game. I think it was. But yeah, TJ Hawkinson is not out there. Who could have been a huge difference in this game for the young quarterback. But we're not going to sit up here and not think that this guy has not prepared to play for this game. So I'm not going to punch down on him. But the Packers should win this game, man. This game, I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy win, but, we should be heavily favored to win this game. Just, we can't have any SIWs, man. No self-inflicted wounds. You got Aaron Jones back. Just give him the damn ball. Elton Jenkins is going to be healthy to play. Jay Reed is going to be back. Romeo Dubs. I mean, Tucker Kraft, who's had an outstanding last 3 weeks at the tight end position. A.J. Dillon is going to play. He's going to tough it out with the broken thumb. So, I don't think we will have to do much on offense to win this game. I mean, the defense should be able to get some turnovers, an interception, a fumble, something. You know what I mean? We gotta get some turnovers, man. That's the one thing that this defense has been lacking late in the season is turnovers. We need interceptions. We need fumble recoveries. We need those things to give the offense extra possessions out there to score more points. And I know this game is on the road. And we haven't been that successful on the road. I mean, we beat the Panthers. Is this game on the road? Hold on, let me check. I think it's on the road. Vikings. Oh my God, come on with this. Oh, I pushed the wrong thing. That's what I did. I pushed the wrong thing. Here we go. All right. I really got to get out of here, but we're gonna roll with it. Yeah, I think the Packers are on the road, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what's going on with my damn internet right now. I don't know why this thing be tripping. But whatever. Maybe I'm pushing the wrong thing. I don't know what I'm doing now. Yeah, but yeah, this game should be a winnable game for the Packers, man. If we lose, then our playoff hopes are over. So, I mean, some people are saying we should tank and just lose these next 2 games to fire Joe Barry. And some people don't want the Packers to play outstanding defense these last two games because they think Matt LaFleur is going to do some soft shit and have a soft heart to keep Joe Barry around for another year. Um, I'd rather see us win out just to get a good look at what Jordan Love is going to look like in the playoffs. I want to see him in the playoffs so I could, just so you can see what he could look like. What he looks like in a playoff game. Of course, it's going to be on the road in a hostile environment, but any kind of experience, playoff experience, is good enough for me for a young quarterback in his first year to get to that point to say that you came in after the great Aaron Rodgers and propelled this team through an up and down season and still got a chance to have a crack at the playoffs. I think that's a huge accomplishment for Jordan Love, and who wouldn't want a little extra bonus money getting to the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? I think by doing, if the Packers were to get to the playoffs this season, I think it would give them. I think it would give management, Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur. I think it would give them a better gauge of radar of where this team could possibly end up in the next 2 years. Of course, if you start really evaluating this young talent and seeing who's coming to play every Sunday, then you could just build around that and just keep gauging the path of success to potentially see this team, hoisting up another Lombardi in the NFC North Division, since nobody else want to do it. So, yeah, I think it's important that Jordan Love get to the playoffs. I would love to see him, get his feet wet, no matter who we playing. Just so the Packers can navigate this path of what they trying to do in a better way. I think it will let the Packers know exactly where they at as far as in the NFC conference and in the NFL totally. I think it will give them a better view of where they're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? They'll know the pieces they need to get. They'll know the type of players that they have to bring in to be successful. And plus, you kind of want to leave. You kind of want the team to be going in a good direction with, Mark Murphy stepping down in a couple of years. You want to give the next president stepping in a foundation that he can build on to propel this team to being what it was always meant to be, and that's Titletown. So I'm excited. I want the team to fight hard these last few games, so the Packers can get more and more of a better evaluation of the team that they have surrounding Jordan Love. And, plus this would give, guys like, of course, Christian Watson is not going to play no more this year. I don't think he's going to play the next two games. But, without Christian Watson being on the football field, this is also giving the Packers a look at life without Christian Watson on the football field, so they know what game plan they need to run, which I think they will do against the Vikings this Sunday night. But now that that's all done, we are in the fantasy football championship. And so far, we are up 24 points. And the reason for that is because at the last minute, we grabbed the Browns defense. I started to pick up Joe Flacco. But I called my bookie, right? I said, look, man, I'm in a championship. The money's on the line. He said, who you got as your defense? I said, well, I went to the waiver wire and I saw the Browns defense, and I'm like, damn, the number one defense been in here this whole time. So I said, man, let me grab him. I grabbed him, but I wasn't sure if I should play him. So he said, no, you need to play the Browns defense because they trying to clinch the playoffs. He's like, they might blow them out. He's like, if you look at what the Browns been doing the last few weeks, they've been getting turnovers, fumble recoveries. He said that's what you need to win a fantasy football championship. You want your defense to be good too. So I said, what about Joe Flacco? He was like, who your quarterbacks? I said, I have Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Dak Prescott. He was like, He was like, Joe Flacco. He said, I don't know. He said, Joe Flacco probably going, he said, Joe Flacco been on fire. He's like, but this week, you know what I'm saying? He's like, Joe Flacco might get like around 50 something points. And that's exactly what Joe Flacco got, around 54 points. He was like, he going to throw for over 300 yards. He going to throw a couple touchdowns. He's like, but if you really want to get the points, you'd rather not have a quarterback that's going to play in the blowout, because at the end of the game, they're just going to start handing the ball off to whatever running back. It don't even matter if it's the third or fourth string running back. They're just going to hand the ball off to whoever. And that's exactly how the Browns game played out, which was interesting. So I say, okay, I'm not going. I said, well, what should I do then? He said, well, you got Jalen Hurts, right? I said, yeah. He said, that's the kind of quarterback you need in order to win your fantasy football championship. He was like, you need a quarterback that's going to throw around 230 yards, maybe a touchdown. He's like, but he's like, maybe a touchdown or two. He was like, but also you want a quarterback that's going to be able to run the ball and score rushing touchdowns, and that's what Jalen Hurts does. They playing against the Arizona Cardinals. I think they in Philly. I think they in Philly, which is a good deal. And he was like, he's like, if you could, I said, what about Dak Prescott? I was like, he was my quarterback that carried me the whole year. He said, man, it's about winning. He says it's about getting the most points. He was like, Dak playing against the Detroit Lions. He was like, they're a 5.5 point favorite. He was like, but one of those touchdowns might be scored by Tony Pollard. Um, Dak might throw an interception. He might fumble a ball. He said, don't sleep on Detroit defense, even though they playing on the road. He was like, I still think Dallas will win the game. He was like, because then that way both their records will be tied. You know what I'm saying? And plus, if Dallas wins, then that means uh Dallas and the Lions have covered the spread 10 times this year. So he was like, they're gonna have the same record. Ain't really nothing gonna change in the position of where they gonna be at in the playoff seating. He's like, you want to go at the quarterback that does the most. He's like, Jalen Hurts does a lot. He always got the ball in his hand. He might carry the ball like 13, 14 times in a game. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the kind of offense they got. They really don't trust a run game like that. So they rather Jalen Hurts line up in an empty set and then just run the ball. So I'm a roll with Jalen Hurts. I'm up 24 points. The guy that I'm playing against, he got Buffalo defense and Josh Allen as his quarterback. He had Amari Cooper. I thought he was going to start him, but he set him at the last minute. Amari Cooper didn't play in the Jets game. So yeah, man, I'm projected to win, but we will see how this is going to turn out. I don't know. I'm gonna throw my, yeah, this gonna be my, I'm gonna throw my shit up there so y'all can see that, my lineup. But yeah, man, we in the big money pot, man. So let's get to this Gspot part of the video, because this is going on too long. I'm gonna just run down what some of the interesting numbers I'm looking forward to. I can see Jordan Love throwing over 1.5 touchdown passes. Passing attempts is at 33.5. It might, I probably would go lower on that depending on how many touches Aaron Jones gets in this game. So you might want to be careful with that. Rushing yards for Jordan Love is at 7.5. I like that a lot. I think he'll probably break out of the backfield one time and rush up the field for about 12 yards. His fantasy points at 15. I think he'll go over the fantasy points. His passing yards, I'm not too sure about. His they got passing yards at 239.5 passing yards, but I don't think he's gonna do that. He might get over it. But just playing against a fifth string quarterback, how many times are they going to give us possessions with the football going three and out, three and out? So majority of the time, it's probably going to be Aaron Jones running the ball, and if we score on the first two drives, and shut them down, and then second half finish out the game, I don't think Jordan Love will have over 239 passing yards or have over 33 and a half passing attempts. That's just how I'm looking at the game. But the Packers defense could give up some big plays to where we got a shootout in Minnesota. Aaron Jones, 12 and a half rushing attempts. I like that going over. 53 and a half rushing yards. I like that over. And 11 fantasy points. I like that over too. One of the questionable guys on here, I'm not too sure about, is Romeo Dubs. Now that Jay Reed is going to be playing in this game along with Tucker Kraft, you might want to go under on the receiving yards at 40 and a half with Romeo Dubs, but might want to be interested in him having a receiving touchdown. So I could see Romeo Dubs with like 30 something receiving yards, maybe 3 or 4 receptions, and probably, maybe 9 fantasy points. They got eight fantasy points. Or he could go off for, 5 receptions, 80 something yards, a touchdown. So you got to be careful with that. Jay Reed is back. I don't know if he's going to be limited on snaps, or how many plays he's going to play, but I do like his 53 and a half receiving yards. I like him probably to be under 7.5 targets. I like the, probably under 7.5 targets. He might have a rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown once we get in the red zone, because I think the Vikings in the last couple of weeks, they've been one of the worst teams in the red zone. So watch out for that. I do love Tucker Kraft at 37 and a half receiving yards. Targets 5.5. He's been over 6, one time over 8, another time over 6. So, might want to be careful with that depending on how well Aaron Jones is running the football. If Aaron Jones is running the football well in this game, then it's going to be less pass attempts, less targets. So you got to be careful with that, especially if the defense is playing pretty good and they getting turnovers and giving the Packers short field advantage. Then, targets and yards are going to be, very, very slim to none if the Packers are putting the ball in the end zone on 1 or 2 plays if there is a turnover. I like Anderson Carlson over 6.5 kicking points. And then any one of these guys you could throw in there, Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, or Kenny Clark are on pace to get a sack in this game. And just looking at the Vikings side of the football, it's not really much, man. It's not really much. You got Ty Chandler. If anything, I'm looking at the receivers. I'm looking at the running backs to be receivers in this game. Ty Chandler, I'm looking at him to have over 13 and a half receiving yards. He probably scored a touchdown late in the game. And I could see him getting over 12 fantasy points. Somebody is going to have to, have the most production on this team, without having TJ Hawkinson, and now JJ Addison might not be playing. They're going to be limited on offense. I don't even know who the others are, especially when it comes to receiving. And then, the quarterback, Jaron Hall, you know what I'm saying? As far as any prop bet that I like is probably his 28 and a half rushing yards out of the backfield. He'll probably throw an interception. He'll probably fumble. He'll probably get sacked 3 times, and he'll probably have under 16 fantasy points. So all of those things right there, sacks, 2.5 sacks, I could see that. I'll probably go higher on that. Fumble, I'll probably take a risk on that because it's double the points, along with the interception, double the points. So, if anything, that's been one of the biggest narratives so far for the Packers in the last couple of weeks has been the defense. So I think this is a great game Sunday night where we can probably see the defense, have a big game. They haven't had one in the last 3 weeks, and I think this is the time where Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark and this young talent that's on this in the defensive backside of the football. I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to showcase their skills. And I know a lot of Packer fans are not going to want to hear that, but I think this defense is going to really step up and try to play and not let this fifth string quarterback come out here and embarrass them. Alexander Matheson, only prop I like out of him is the 23.5 rushing plus receiving yards. So that's like 10 yards rushing and then a 10-yard catch. You know what I'm saying? And, maybe the yak after that puts you over that. Justin Jefferson is what I'm kind of iffy on. If he's the only big-time receiver they have out there, if J.J. Addison is not available, his 79.5 receiving yards and his 13 the only thing I probably trust is his 13 fantasy points. I think who knows with this fifth string quarterback how Justin Jefferson is going to play with this man. But if anything, that's probably the only prop bet I'm going to stay away from. I don't give a damn if he go off. I don't give a damn if he don't. That's Justin Jefferson. I'm going to stay away from that prop bet. But, with that being said, man, I'm going to end this video. I don't have a score prediction. I know that the point total is 43.5 points, which lets me know that the Packers will probably win, but they'll probably let the Vikings cover. Probably, I don't know, I'll probably give a score. I'll probably 13-24, somewhere around there, 14-24. I think the Packers give up a late touchdown in a game, probably on a miscommunication or something like that with Keyshawn Nixon, which has been going on every week. And I know that's probably where they're going to attack. They're probably going to motion their running backs over there to go against Keyshawn Nixon, work against them in short yardage, and then they might try to stretch the field with some guy we ain't never heard of, backup, undrafted dude. But yeah, with that being said, man, go Pack, go. I'm gonna try to see if I could get a hold of Bernard and see if we could do a moving the chains. Probably after the Sunday night game. Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'm not gonna do shit because it's raining out here in California and it's cold. So I will be sitting here Sunday night with my drink in my hand and maybe a cigar or two, watching the game. I might go live. Shit, who knows? But yeah, man, y'all have a very, very safe New Year's. Happy New Year's to the whole Packer family, to all Packer fans, and yeah, man, let's see what 2024 is gonna bring. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm expecting to go through some pretty big life changes next year. As far as ridding some of my habits and growth. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get into some bigger and better things. And going through this it's I'm getting older, man. I'm getting much older, man. So yeah, man. Happy New Year. I'm out, y'all. Go Pack, go.